Breaking today, the implosion of the Sussexes. Meghan Markle's Archewell charity scam and as ever lies have finally been exposed, and an astonishing double blow for the fake Duchess. We're going to get into it all.
Look, there's been leaked financial details from the Archewell Foundation that's quite fascinating because it shows that there's...
Are they insane? What is happening? There is complete and utter chaos going on. The Meg and Harold are taking their rebrands far too literally at this point.
Let's talk a little Harry and Meghan. Their Archewell Foundation has been declared delinquent by the state of California, meaning it is not in good standing as a charity and not permitted to engage in activities like raising and spending money, pretty much all you would expect a charitable fund to do.
As ever, we know, launched in April of last year, and Meghan started off with raspberry spread, the flower sprinkles, the teas, and a honey. And we've had a couple of little bits and pieces added to it since then.
Meghan Markle finally achieved something in 2025 without having to buy it. Villain of the Year, Worst TV Show of 2025, Most Disliked Celebrity, a clean sweep that confirms one thing: the public is done.
I think where the problem lies is the fact that Harry and Meghan, when they do have a camera in front of them and when they are in a position to communicate with the public, they're not promoting that charity.
Spent all year long talking about success, desperately trying to sell this image of being this successful businesswoman, this CEO and philanthropist. The amount of publicity she bought in 2025.
Understood that the Archewell Foundation did not pay the necessary fees correctly and was unaware of the issue until the delinquency notice was issued. Gabby?
Sitting on a bunch of inventory is never, ever good. And remember, Meghan said that she ordered like 1 million jar toppers or whatever.
$23 million. That's how much unsold inventory Meghan Markle is reportedly sitting on right now, while the IRS circles her so-called charity like vultures. And what we've just uncovered about the Archewell Foundation is genuinely mind-blowing. I'm talking receipts, not rumors. First, let's clarify what Archewell actually is, because Meghan and Harry want you to believe it's a noble humanitarian organization out here, changing lives and saving the world.
This has been like the last week of 2025 just revealed how catastrophically bad things are going for Harry and Meghan. Archewell is essentially done. Any aspect of their charity has essentially collapsed completely, and it's been revealed for what it really always was, which is a publicity stunt. They were completely and utterly willing to throw aside the people they were supposed to help, and now we have the situation where it's all their art. It's just artifice. It's just there for show.
Reality. In 2020, right after they walked away from the royal family, they launched the Archewell Foundation, naming it after their son, Archie. Sounds sweet, right? They promised compassion, service, and global impact. The mission statement was filled with feel-good language about helping others. But what they don't advertise is this: Archewell functions as a tax shelter, a PR vehicle, and a financial funnel that lets them write off expenses, while branding themselves as selfless humanitarians, all while maintaining an ultra-luxury lifestyle.
Meghan said that she ordered like 1 million jar toppers or whatever. And I'm beginning to think that's somewhat true. And unfortunately for her, I don't think it's going to be a bargain that worked out well for her, or a gamble that worked out for her. And I just did want to show you guys.
We can prove it using their own numbers. Let's look at Archewell's 2020 for financial filings, because this is where things get wild. Total expenses came in at $5.1 million, but total donations just $2.1 million. Down sharply from $5.3 million the year before. That means donations are collapsing. Money is bleeding out, and people are no longer willing to fund them. But it gets worse. Nearly $913,000 went to salaries. For how many people? 2 employees by the end of the year. 2? That's almost $500,000 per person. For what exactly? Answering emails.
Everything Harry and Meghan do is topspin, trying to convince the world, and very often the mainstream media are sucked in, that everything's okay, but it's really not. And the first revelation in regards to Archewell is that the charity is down to just 2 staffers.
Asterisk for interview asterisk, then comes the real red flag. to $0.9 million listed under other expenses, covering security, travel, and administrative cost. Translation: their personal security teams, luxury travel, private accommodations, and elite lifestyle were paid for through a charity. Meanwhile, actual charitable grants totaled just $1.5 million. Let's be clear, they spent over $5 million and gave barely $1 million to real causes. So, where did the remaining $4 million go? You're looking at designer wardrobes, legal fees, and Montecito mansion overhead. This isn't philanthropy. It's a financial shell game. And people are fleeing. In 2024 alone, Archewell went from 5 staffers to just 2. That's a 60% staff collapse right in the middle of their big Archewell Philanthropies rebrand. When that happens, it's not restructuring, it's abandonment.
Post reporting that indeed it is now operating as all smoke and mirrors. Sarah Nathan, who is their editor-at-large, said that Harry and Meghan have been forced to downsize the staff as it was costing them so much. The big question was, would Archewell close or would another charity take over? Harry and Meghan were looking to get a fiscal sponsor, someone to take on the outgoing costs and to keep things cheap. Really, it's all smoke and mirrors. Page 6 confirmed that 3 members, 60% of the charity staff, have now been let go. But of course, what this tax information really reveals is that they are using Archewell to fund their lifestyle, not to change the world, because the security bill alone said to be around $2 million a year, with money flowing out of the charity. So Archewell actually recorded total expenses of $5.1 million, according to its latest 990 form. Salaries for 2024 were listed at $913,000. Expenses were up 54% year on year, soaring from $3.3 million. Other expenses recorded at $2.9 million. Meanwhile, donations and grants to the group dipped from $5.3 million in 2023 to $2.1 million in 2024. Insiders skeptical of how Archewell, which doled out $1.25 million in grants in 2024, can continue. The source said if they're shooting out grants, then that's a net loss and they're not bringing in that much money. So Brittany, when you think about this, I believe it is clear exposure of what Archewell really is. A PR project, nothing more. It's disgusting.
The two biggest exits say everything. James Holt and Meredith Maines. Holt was their longtime PR fixer, spinning disasters into wins since their royal days, feeding friendly stories to the press, and running damage control nonstop. Even he bailed, fleeing back to the UK. Some speculate he's preparing the ground for Harry's return, but more likely, he just wanted out. Meredith Maines was brought in this year to legitimize the operation, stabilize the brand, and clean up the image. Instead, she quit almost immediately after being forced to lie publicly about the Kardashian party scandal. Remember when Meghan and Harry attended Kris Jenner's birthday, and their team claimed they filed a special no photos form? That form never existed. Meredith had to lie on record, and then she was gone.
Forced to lie on behalf of her principals, claiming, you might remember, Brittany, that there was this special form that the Sussexes had filled in before attending Kris Jenner's 70th, explaining that they didn't want to have their photographs taken. Problem is, it never existed. James Holt moving back to the United Kingdom, some people believe to lay the groundwork for a potential Harry.
Your professional spin doctors can't stomach working for you. That's the endgame. But here's the most shocking part. While Archewell is imploding, Meghan's personal business venture, as ever, just exposed something unbelievable. A Reddit user discovered a glitch on the As Ever website. If you added an absurd quantity of items to the cart, like 100,000 units, the site revealed total available inventory. And what it showed is brutal. Meghan is sitting on roughly $23 million worth of unsold product. Let that sink in. $23 million. Unsold. Unmoving. And very real.
$535,000 worth of orange marmalade in my cart and almost $6 million of Meghan's signature food spread. She has $6 million worth of food spread right now in her inventory, and you know it. This is an epic fail. This is if you're ordering something, now granted, I do fourth wall, so I don't know quite how some of the aspects of their site function. But like when I was ordering, well, I guess I didn't really specify it, but I had a very small amount of inventory. You know, people bought 2. I think maybe I had 1 or 2 people buy 3 of the shirts when I was selling them myself, like the recollections